Hello students, welcome back to my channel English Entry. Today you are going to join us with an amazing literature lesson. This is going to be my first lesson on English literature in my YouTube channel. Hope you guys would enjoy. This lesson is for G.C.E O level students and this video is dedicated to Adisha, Savindhya, Senaya, Dilshara, Rashmika and Sudham for my first set of English literature students. Let me give a short introduction to Romanticism because today we are going to talk about nature poets. I decided to start our journey of learning English literature from this landmark called Romanticism because it is the best place for any beginner to start with. For you to get the concepts clear, I have given you some outline details of some poets in this grid. Please note that these poets are not the best representatives of Romanticism because I had to select these poets from our anthology. There are some representatives and there are some mismatches also, but all these poets have a note of or else some aspects of Romanticism. Look at these poets. They all are from Western culture. Kids from England. Emily Dickinson is from US, United States. Blake's from England. Tennyson is from England. And also look at the time duration of their lifespan. They all lived in a same lifetime period. Kids 1795 to 1821, Emily Dickinson from 1830 to 1886, Blake 1757 to 1827, Tennyson from 1809 to 1892. Okay, who ruled England during their time? When Keats was writing, George III and IV were the rulers, and when Emily Dickinson was writing, Queen Victoria was the ruler in England. When Blake was writing, George III and IV were there, and when Tennyson was writing, Queen Victoria was the ruler. And also look at the titles of all these poems. To the Nile, a bird came down the walk, to the evening star, the eagle. There are some components of nature in these titles. There are some familiar things that we can see from our surrounding. Nile, it is a river, a bird, evening star, the planet Venus, and also eagle. As you can see, all are related with nature, and these poets have selected their subject matters related with nature. Their themes are related with nature. So there are some common features among all these poets. Look at the forms of their poetry: sonnet, ballads, ode, lyric. These forms are very popular among these poets in this time. And also, what is a movement? It is called a romantic movement. They all belong to romantic movement. And what is it? What do you mean by literary movement? It is a group of writers with shared ideas about a number of things ranging from style, content, philosophy, social concerns, art, culture, etc. They have some shared ideas. They all, as you can see in this grid, what is the shared idea among all these writers? It is nature. They talked about nature. They represent nature through their writing. So that is the shared ideas among these writers. It is not the one and only shared idea. There are a lot of ideas. I'm not going to explain them as this is a short introduction and it is only a beginner's lesson. Okay, let's move on. you can categorize literary pieces according to genres. I told you, according to literary movements also you can categorize literature, or and also there are ways that you can categorize literature according to the reign of the country who ruled during that time. Considering that, you can categorize literature. It is one aspect of categorizing literature is considering ruler or who was in monarch during that time. The other thing is concerning literary movements, you can categorize literature. And also there is another way, that is considering genres. You can categorize literature. Genres are poetry, drama, prose, fiction. Under poetry there are odes, ballads, lyrics, and elegy. Elegies, they are very popular among romantic writers. Examine these past paper fictions. To the Evening Star, it can be considered as a poem which glorifies nature. Questions 2. William Blake creates a positive impression of nature into The Evening Star. Examine this statement with reference to the poem. Discuss Emily Dickinson's A Bird Came Down the Walk as a minute of observation of nature. Examine by providing examples from the poem how John Keats admires the service and the nature of the Nile into the Nile. As you can see, there is a common feature among all these questions. I found these questions from our past papers under the category of poetry in essay type questions. There is a common feature, that is all these poems, all these questions are asked to discuss the concept nature, which is highlighted by all these poets. Okay, why nature? Why did all these poets talk about nature during that time? During the 17th, 18th centuries, why did all these poets talked about nature this much? What is the special of it? Because during their time, so many political corruptions were happening. Religious degeneration was there. Society was full of immoralities. Was there freedom? No freedom at all. Was there equality? No equality at all. Was there fraternity? No. Corruption? Yes. Authoritativeness? Yes. Power superiors? Religious degeneration? Yes, of course. Why such negativities? Why do you think people were behaving like that? Because so many processes were going on during 17th and 18th centuries. It is starting from 15th century actually, with the Enlightenment. Then came Renaissance. You may have heard that word Renaissance. You find it in your history books, in your history classes, Punarudaya. And also then Industrial Revolution came into being. Then French Revolution came into being. With the Crusade, all the scholars spread into Europe and they shared their knowledge. And then philosophers started to be curious. Then they started to question. They even questioned the religion. Then Renaissance came into being. People wanted to find solutions for their problems. They became rational, and Industrial Revolution came into being. People became more materialistic, money-minded, and also it is in the side of economy. When it comes to the politics, there was French Revolution. All these processes were going during a romantic writer's time. Okay, what did the other writers do while these things were happening? Who are other writers? Other writers means the writers who were writing before the Romantic writers. They are called neoclassical writers. Oops. Their writings are some kind of boring stuffs. That's my point of view actually. Let's see. Neoclassical writings were didactic. They wanted to instruct people. Do like this, don't do like this, behave like this, don't behave like that, etc. They wanted to instruct people, and also they addressed only aristocrats. It's to not their decencies, but their trivialities, follies, etc. Some odd things they explained through their writings. And also language was complex. Ordinary men never understood that language. With all these things, Romantic poets wanted to go away from all these burdens. They were fed up with so kind of rational, traditional rules of classical writings, and also the political systems. They were fed up with them, and they wanted to escape. They wanted to escape towards supernaturality. They wanted to escape towards the truth. They wanted to find out truth and beauties of things, and some writers escaped towards nature. And also these poets wanted to opposed with bondage rules and customs, which has been subject matters to neoclassical writers. And also Romantic writers' intention was to get the free spirit of man to act against with authoritativeness. They communicated with ordinary people through their poetry, using nature as a mediator. Nature means not human nature, but water, flowers, mountains, etc. The true nature, they wanted to talk about them. Before them, the neoclassical writers talked about human nature. Here they wanted to react against that, and also they talked about actual nature. Not only the mountains, flowers, and etc., but also they talked about children, peasants, slaves, and some innocent creatures, because they are far away from artificiality. They are far away from aristocrats and very closer to nature, and they are very pure well-beings. So they wanted to communicate with them with a simple language, and they wanted to invoke their feelings, and they made them act against authoritativeness and the rationality. But this journey of introducing Romantic ideals was not a bed full of roses, because many of the writers were not recognized during their time. Some poets had to commit suicide. Some writers had to commit suicide because they were not recognized. And also some writers died, and after their death only the society understood the values, ideals of them. But somehow at present these Romantic ideas are highly appreciated and admired. I gave you a small introduction to Romantic movement and about nature poets. I think you got an idea. It's your duty to dig into further grounds if you want to study literature furthermore. So Let's start our journey of learning English literature with English Entry, which is going to be your favorite channel of all. Okay, I will explain you to the Evening Star by William Blake from my next lesson, from my next video. Until then, have a nice day. Thank you.